stuff that we've been talking about and building up to. So let's get the recording started, or the stream started, shall I say. Rita, you got co-hosts. Let's have some fun. And we've been talking about and build. All right, everyone, we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're tuning in from. Oh, look, I see we've got some other faces that popped in while I was going live. This is fantastic. So TGIM, thank God it's Monday. My name is Robert Blakely. I'm your host. This is our Monday Mastermind for the Lost Transition. We've been doing this now for 5 years. So to start off today's episode, what I want to start off with is saying, hey, well, we had, if you were paying attention to know, we leveled up to level 57 over the weekend. Yay me. We have our wedding anniversary today, and it's just like a trifecta of greatness that's been going on. So that being said, we're going to do things slightly different only because as I posted today on Facebook, when you level up and you learn some things, you got to do different things, especially when you see the numbers, you see the data, you got to make adjustments, all that other fun stuff, right? So I noticed we've been going a little bit over. We used to do the show and it was 2 hours long. We still threw in a lot of value, but we've been going over lately. So I want to keep the intros and the wins down to, let's say, 15, 20 minutes because of the topic that I've got to cover with you guys today. Okay, so we're going to do that. And if you're watching live on YouTube, feel free to join us live inside the room here at live.thelosttransition.com. And feel free to subscribe, right? Maybe you're watching this on the replay. So what do we do here? We get together every Monday. We have a Monday Mastermind. We celebrate everybody's wins that are in the community here. We have a training component and we open it up for kind of takeaways or questions and answers, and we have a good time doing it. I would recommend that you take out pen and paper because we always drop notes like gold nuggets and gold bombs, realistically. So let's make sure we have some fun and let's educate ourselves. How about that? Anybody want to start us off with some wins from last week? I'd especially love to hear from you guys that have actually been following all of these trainings, especially, we are on week 29. We're going to be talking about listening to close. So, what have you implemented over the past few weeks from the lessons that we've learned from week 1 to 29? I'd love to hear some of those today. But I want to welcome Tommy. Appreciate you being here. Gene, thanks for being here. Jackie, beautiful to see your face. Hello, Rita. Hello, Virgil. Hello, Dr. Lisa. Hello, Vicky. Great to see you. Hi, Mikey. Hi, Jorge. Hello, Anna. And hello, Johnny. Gene, let's get us started, buddy.
Well, how's everybody doing today?
Super.
Happy anniversary and happy birthday yesterday. So,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
um, I had a really big win, and it is rolled into something else entirely. Um, my friend Lisa Griggs, I've invited her several times to here, but she just got too much going on, and eventually she'll get here. But uh, she had one of her best friends has a pool company they're starting up in California. And she said, "Hey, listen, if you set up their Instagram, she'll pay you $250." Okay, well, it wasn't just 250. It wasn't just Instagram. I set up their Facebook profile. Lisa set up a Gmail account to make it easy. So I set up a Facebook profile, Facebook page, Instagram, and Threads, and I set up the Google Business Suite and tied it all together. What could be tied together, and
Nice.
then handed it off to them. And they're super happy. They paid me. Everything's fine and dandy.
Okay.
And Lisa's going to try to find me other work like that with some other people that she knows that might be starting companies out. And it was, I did it one day. And Chappie T said I could have tried to charge $750,000 for something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I didn't complain to Lisa because I accepted that. I did tell her that maybe get a little bit more next time if we can. But it was a friend of a friend. And um, I thought, well, I could repeat this. I could do this for other people too.
Man, you
When
can.
anybody opening up a business, I can at least get that started. Or I can come back to them and offer monthly services to create content for the pool company and stuff like that. I don't know if I want to lock myself down into that though. But at least getting people set up, and then also includes Twitter or X and things like that. Um, but then I turned around and resaw an ad I saw last week. Um, before I did this, and it was sell your PDFs for $47. Here's how, or something like that.
Sure.
And I thought, well, I took that screenshot, dumped it into ChatGPT, and said, what if I created a PDF for the work I just did for the pool company? How I made $250 setting up someone's Facebook, Instagram, Meta Suite,
Yes.
and I could sell that for $9.95. I don't need to make $47. I can do it for $9.95.
Exactly.
People will buy that. People sit there and say, wait, $250 for only $9.95?
I love
This blew up yesterday. I took a me day yesterday. I didn't do anything. My computer didn't even come on. So I took a me day yesterday. So this blew up yesterday. The conversation with me and ChatGPT has blown up to I can create 15 different PDFs,
it.
all stringing along one or the other, have a QR code and a URL at the beginning of the PDF as a welcome. Tell them to watch the video at the end where there'll be another link for a video that gives them a coupon code for the next PDF to buy. And they all daisy chain from setting up the Meta Suite to how to keep that customer as a monthly customer, building assets, to how to use ChatGPT and other AI platforms, how to do this, how to do that, how to do this, how to do that, to where I can develop a whole suite of things.
Ah,
Then I thought Robert could do the same thing with all of his slideshows he's been doing for the year
yeah,
to come up with, okay, here's the um, how to overcome 7 objections, and take those PowerPoint slides or whatever they're called, whatever you're using, put them
yeah,
in one, add extra meat to it, and sell it for $9.95 all day long.
sure.
You know, so and other people could do the same thing. It's like,
I love it.
wow.
I
And
love it,
so
Gene.
I'm, as you can tell, I'm excited about all this. Now there's going to be a
Absolutely, as
little
you
while to get
should
all that
be.
developed.
Yeah,
And then one last win that happened out of this. Remember my top 10 I was going to do last year before I stopped doing
yeah,
everything?
yeah.
I thought, I could do that as a video also to promote this. I can do a top 10 reasons why you need to do this. And
Right.
then ding, 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 ding. Gene Has Concerns is now going to start, hopefully, if I can find enough things to do. Top 9 reasons why Gene says, what in the blue hell? And start doing that as a weekly event on Sundays.
Oh, I love it, bro. I love it. I absolutely love it. Congratulations on that sale and also the future work. And not only that, just the enlightenment that you had over the weekend. You know what I'm saying? Like, and what I'm hearing is systems, right? This is what we teach around here. Create a system. If you have a system, systems work. People don't, right? So create a system that's going to attract the person to you, right? And then, heck, word of mouth advertising. If she's bringing you new clients, man, that's the best form of advertisement that's out there. So kudos to you, brother. Thank you for sharing. That's freaking
Exactly. And just
awesome.
one last thing,
Yeah.
everybody take a me day some days because it pays off.
Oh, amen. 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 Definitely. And especially a me day to disconnect from everything for sure.
Mhm.
Thanks for sharing, brother. Dr.
Thank
Lisa,
you.
what you got? You got some wins?
Well, this is the first test drive of my new non-black background.
Okay.
Someone here, Virgil, said that the black does not represent wellness or something. So, and the Bible says there is wisdom in a multitude of counselors, and said, woe to you if you hear my instruction and ignore it. So I said, all right.
Amen. I love
So on so this is my secondary win. My primary win is that I'm now an inner circle member of the Lost Transition.
it.
And when I looked, when you had me put it on the screen last time, I was like, that looks horrible. My front page, because it wasn't cohesive.
Yeah.
There were
There's a
great
sizing
visuals.
issue for some reason.
No, I'm not even talking about the sizing. I'm just
Oh.
talking about the black banner, which I love my black background. And so, but the hero image was lighter, because it came through a different pathway. And
Sure.
so they just didn't go together. So I said, all right, for now, I got a chat GPT to make me a black background hero image to match my banner
Uh,
on the lost transition, but it is going to change to this, which I call this Star Trek chic.
Star Trek chic. I like that. I like the two lights coming down, and those are lights, right?
Yeah, I mean they're on the background. They're not
Yeah, and
real,
I see your
but
butterflies there.
gotta have butterflies.
Yeah, I love it. Nice.
Um, but okay, here's a question, and
Sure.
I thought about it all day yesterday, but I just could not get my fingers to type it in. So I know there's no mobile app for the lost transition, but I'm assuming that my intro video should play on mobile,
Yes.
and it doesn't.
Okay. Cool. I actually just now put a new button inside up top. You'll see the very top a little light bulb. Click that sometime today when we're done, and then shoot me a little message to let me know. Little a little idea slash support button for everyone.
I like a light bulb.
Yes. Yes. And thank you for sharing that. I love that background. Good job. Anybody else have some wins they want to share? Vicky, go for it. Hello. Look at that bright background. You
Yes, I
look
just redid it again.
okay.
I one of my biggest wins is that I have so many leads now that I can barely keep up with all of them. So I still
That's a
need to
good
find the
problem to
time to
have.
put them all into the CRM and stuff.
That's
But I've had so many conversations that I haven't had time to get to that yet, but it's on my list. And
okay.
I'm also creating myself because I spend so much time going to meetings and everything and helping other people that what I didn't have, like I have all my TE calendars and everything all color coded for the promos and stuff. But I didn't have one for myself.
Gotcha.
So I'm creating like a project. It's called, I'm calling it the Vicky CEO dashboard.
Ooh,
The Vicky Tennessee Pick CEO dashboard.
okay.
And so I'm putting everything into there so that I can keep myself better organized.
I love it.
And then it'll allow me to see what time slots I actually do have available and which ones I need to be more strict on, as far as
Mm,
giving so much of my time. I mean, I always want to help other people, but I need to also consider I have work of my own to do as well. So
yeah,
I'm trying to format it into blocks. I think it's all a win. I love it. My
good.
Tennessee fix is almost done, and now I'm about ready to add the membership site and stuff to it. So I'm really happy with everything that's going on. Yes.
Good job, girl.
Mhm.
Yeah, having so many leads that you don't know what to do with them is a good problem to have. If you need any help, just get with me at any point in time, right?
Thank you.
We could get those leads uploaded and start talking to them, sliding them over to the look, try, or book section and start getting some movement and some action in your world.
I'm
Thank you.
trying to force myself to call them, to actually call them.
Okay,
So
that's okay too.
working my way into that. I wouldn't sound perfectly, perfect at it yet, but I feel like it's time. Now is the time to actually start doing that. Because I've spent a lot of time emailing, 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 emailing.
Sure,
It's
sure,
time
sure.
to just pick up the phone and start having conversations.
Well, either that too. You guys, Cheryl Coco.
Hmm.
One great tip that she put out there all the time that I love to share with people. There's nothing wrong with texting somebody. Just say, "Want to chat?" Question mark.
Hmm.
Super simple, right? And then, hey,
Hmm.
let's get on the phone or do a video call. I always use the thing I say, yeah, you want to get on the phone so our fingers don't bleed, from texting, changing the person's state, right? Making them laugh. Yeah, yeah, let's get on the phone. And then watch your time frame, right? 12 minutes, 12
I
minutes.
actually prefer to get them on to like MS Teams or something where
Sure,
you can actually chat so you
sure.
can still work while you're chatting.
There you go. Whatever
Because when you're
works.
texting all the time, you can't spend so much time because you're taking time
Exactly.
away from what you're doing to talk by texting. So I'm I when I can get them to Facebook Messenger or some kind of chat that where you can physically talk, even the phone,
Yeah.
then I'm good. It's and I feel more comfortable in those chats than I do actually on the phone still. So I'm like, I can talk to anybody on chat. But not so much on the phone, I'm still pushing myself. I find myself pushing myself.
They're
Well,
both the same thing. They're
baby steps.
communication devices, but yes,
Mhm,
baby steps is where it's at. Kudos and congratulations, and
mm,
thanks for sharing with us.
thank you.
Looking forward to all your success as always. We've seen you come from a lot of trials and tribulations, and we've seen you flourish, and the background looks great. Thanks for being here, and thank you for sharing, Vicky. You know we love you. Virgil, what you got, brother? And then we got time for one more, most likely Miss Rita. What you got, brother? And Tommy, if you have any wins, feel free to share. I just want to try to make sure we don't keep you too long over the allotted time limit. Nope, you broke it. Next. Kevin, man.
Well, I do want to say happy birthday to you, and
Oh,
I
thank you.
appreciate all that you've done for this platform for the individuals. You've done a really great job with people,
Oh,
and we can see it in their testimonials, their wins, and so we appreciate you, Blakester.
well, thank you. I appreciate you. And you got a message waiting for you so we can try to connect that chat GPT and make sure that we get on the same sheet so I can help you out as much as I can. Okay. Don't forget about me. I know you're a busy woman, but I'm right here in your corner for you. Okay. Any other wins, Rita?
Yeah, she's a busy person and a busy new mom, so
Yeah.
to speak. Like who gets instant kids? I
She's a
don't know.
superstar. That's the deal.
She is. I don't know that I would be okay to do that. Um, my husband is cleaning. I hope you don't hear. He's cleaning the with the water outside, whatever you call that.
Yeah. Pressure washer?
Yeah, that's it. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So my win, I'm going to be quick, is simply just following the system, loving the platform. The more I use it, the more I love it. It is phenomenal. I got a couple of people, of free members, for the transition, and just it's just been a really great journey. And I'm telling a lot of people. I have a lot of people that are coming to take a look, and that's all I want. I don't care if they get, because guess what? The numbers are going to tell anyway. So
Exactly.
if I get 20 and I get two people that join, I'm good.
Right.
But I'm not really doing it for that reason. When you are passionate about something, over the years, all the stuff that I've tried, and this one is the one that is makes me the happiest. Just going in there and also creating those emails. I think I have 8 businesses in there now. They are not all completed with their profile, but at least I know which ones I need to work on first, second, and third. And while those are the ones that I've done are cooking, I can work on the other ones. I'm really excited about that. Thanks, Blakester.
Thank you. You're very welcome. And thank you for the birthday gift. I appreciate you more than you know.
My pleasure. Can never pay you back.
Ditto, my friend. Ditto, my friend. Any other quick wins? Going once, going twice. Sold to the lady in the second row. She's an 8, she's a 9, she's a 10, I know. All right, let's go ahead and let's dive into today's information because it's pretty in depth. Like I was talking about. Now we've kind of alluded and we've talked a little bit about this stuff, right? We've been on this journey at least for this particular year now for 29 weeks. Are you paying attention to the time frame? We're 29 weeks into the year. I don't know where you're at with your business or what your goals were, what kind of decisions you made, January 1st that probably haven't come true. We don't know, right? But listening to close is what we're going to talk about today. But again, as you know, I like to dive into the psychology of things so that you guys truly understand what this whole marketing thing is all about. When you know these things, and you understand the psychology, you have your system set up, you know what people are going to say. All it is just like Rita was talking about. You're just running the numbers. In essence, it's a filtering and sorting process, right? But in order to filter and filter through those amounts of people, like as an example, Vicky having too many leads, you have to be able to filter and do very good listening. We talk about that level one listening. I want to say that was in day one boot camp. Don't quote me, but I think that was. But the premise is this, right? The best closers actually talk less than they speak, and they let the prospect sell themselves. I'm sure you guys have heard me say before, the easiest way to close a customer is to let them close themselves, right? If you've never heard that before, write it down if you need to. But we're actually in this week 29 of phase four of what we've been calling conversation mastery. For people like Tommy that are just joining us, I set out for this particular year to have 52 weeks or block of instruction, if you will, so that every Monday when we came in here, we would celebrate the wins. We would go through a training course like this. And literally, if you go back, anyone that might be watching this, so you can go back and watch, I know it might be difficult. It's going to take some time. You can cut through the intros, the celebration if you want to, and just listen and pay attention and take notes to all of the ones that we've done up to this week. You should have a firm, firm grasp on what it is that we try to teach people here. And ultimately, that's to attract the clientele so you're not chasing people, right? And then knowing and understanding how to have the right conversations and what to say within those conversations. Because the biggest problems that we have in network marketing, especially, are those two things that we've mentioned. Number one is lack of leads or how to find leads. And then once you have those leads, what do I say to those leads, right? Or how do I say what I'm going to say to those leads even better, right? So, welcome to today's Monday Mastermind for the Lost Transition. So, wanted to kind of start our day out with a nice little graphic here of invoking what I truly mean by level one listening. Yeah, I'm not talking Dumbo ears or anything like this, right? But you have to you have to be able to take the time to actually listen. And I even find myself having to pay attention to this as much as possible. Especially even when Rita and I talk, I like have to think, am I talking too much, right? It's like I have to try to adjust myself, even though we're just having a normal conversation and it's not about selling anything. I still have that in the back of my mind. Am I listening more than I'm speaking? We all know that when we get passionate about something, it's very easy to talk about it, right? So we have to understand that when we get passionate about talking about a specific thing, it's not a bad thing, right? Because it shows the passion that you have for what it is. But that could also press you into, that level six or level seven of energy that we've talked about not going into, right? Because the moment that you get too excited within that sale, you could potentially be showing signs of trying to sell somebody, right? Remember, back in the past, we've talked about where you want to be. You want to be on a scale of 1 to 10 at about a five, which is just kind of neutral. The tonality sounds a little bit like this. The delivery is similar to this. It's just simply giving somebody the information. In essence, it's literally it's just having a conversation, right? Watching your dialect, watching your tonal inflection, but ultimately it's just having a conversation, right? So the big myth is that great closers are great talkers, and that's exactly why it's a myth, right? The truth of things is the greatest closers are the best listeners, right? So if you don't take the time to listen, you're not going to know what truly is bothering or what's underneath the surface of what's actually preventing that potential customer from joining whatever your business is or buying your potential products, right? So that being said, when you talk, you're only repeating what you already know, right? So when they talk, they're going to hand you the exact reason why they're going to buy. Now, all of this, right, the premise that you guys know, we've talked about this before, is again, so that we're not out there being pushy, being that salesperson that people don't like, and we're actually giving value to people, attracting them to us, showing them what we have, making sure that it fits what they need, and allowing them to make the ultimate decision without any pressure, right? That's the easiest way to do it. If you give them a smooth, fun transition, if you will, that's enjoyable and memorable, well, guess what? They'll probably talk about it, right? And then you go into that word of mouth advertising, which is the best that's out there. But you have to listen to what their words are. You have to find out what their pain is, right? And ultimately, what's their motive? You guys might have heard me say this before. Even when somebody reaches out in Facebook, as an example, the first thing that I think to myself is, okay, what's their motive? Which is why some of you guys know I teach. I always say, hey, I see a friend request from you here. What motivates you to reach out? This is my first step in actually connecting with somebody to find out whether we should be connected or not, right? But ultimately, I want to listen more than I speak because that prospect's going to tell me exactly how to close them. Okay. They're going to tell me exactly, and I can't stress this enough, guys. And I smile when I think about it. It's part of, when you hear me talking about, I know what they're going to say, all that stuff, like being almost like seeing the future, right? Right. So we had to make a little bit of a shift because most of us are used to selling. And in fact, I was a big culprit of this understanding, right? I came from over 20 years of direct marketing. So my job was just to go talk, sell, close, right? So I figured whenever I came into the online marketing world, well, I just do the same thing, right? Shouldn't be a problem. But I was met with great turmoil. It was then I was slapped in the face many times, and this is how I learned, like, okay, oh, Robert, you've been in marketing and sales all your life. This is a different kind of marketing that she hadn't really been truly introduced to properly. Right. So then came my mentor and finally understanding and making it pop and then creating the system. And then ultimately there was something else that he mentioned. This might be a little gold sprinkle for you guys, right? Is talking about creating the system. And then ultimately he said, what is your secret sauce? What is your secret sauce? So we could talk about that later, but think about it. What is your secret sauce besides being able to listen? So here's why we talk too much, and this is what ruins a sale. We've talked about before. I like to tell you guys how to do things and how to blow them, so to speak, right? And this is the biggest thing is that most salespeople talk too much. They don't recognize that buying line that that customer is actually at or above that buying line. And then they'll talk, 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 which will drive that person down below that buying line. And then now you have to do all that work over again because you screwed up that emotional cycle that you're trying to put somebody on, right? So here's why we talk too much. Number one, we fear the silence, right? Most of us can't, and take this as you will, but this is coming from somebody who feels like, the clinical diagnosis of ADD and ADHD may have been in my life. I've never been clinically diagnosed, but the point is that most of us can't sit still in silence for 30 seconds to a minute, right? Especially nowadays because of the rush of endorphins or dopamine hits that we're looking for, because yes, we're all addicted to something. The biggest thing that we're addicted to is dopamine, right? But we fear the silence. We fear the silence. But it's important that we not only listen, right, but be comfortable in the silence. This is something else that was taught to me. Secondly, we fall in love with the pitch, right? And that's where that passion comes in. We're so proud of the features that we just bury them in the details, right? And a lot of those details that didn't ask for. You might say something that's going to screw up that sale by saying something that you literally shouldn't, right? You've heard me say before, the customer only knows what you tell them, right? So if you tell them the wrong thing, immediately they might sense something, the walls go up, they fall below the buying line, you lose that sale. You get the no, right? Or you get the I need to speak to my wife that we just talked about the other day, right? Last week or whatnot, right? And then number three, we assume we know. We answer objections they haven't raised, right? without asking those questions or finding out their pain, then how do you know how to answer whatever those objections are in advance so that they don't have them? Because that's something else that we teach here, right? Excuse me. How do we have a conversation with them, find out what their pain is, realize that we already know what they're going to tell us, especially if they're married, and then throw in that answer to objection before they even object. So don't assume that you know without asking the question and then ultimately listening. And then number 4, we confuse talking with selling, right? More words feel like more effort. But just like I mentioned in the dialogue here, like I got to think to myself, am I speaking too much? I mean, obviously I'm presenting right now, right? So I'm going to be speaking, but if I'm having a conversation, you want that conversation to be somewhat mutual, but there's still a point in where you have to stay and maintain control within that conversation. And I say control lightly, okay? And we'll get into that. So here's the 70-30 rule. If you've never heard this before, okay? They should be doing most of the talking. So they're going to do 70% of the talking. Now, mind you, this is again, we're dealing with internet marketing, not so much direct marketing, okay? Because direct marketing is kind of a different rule. They would they would most likely speak 30%, you would speak 70%. The 30%, you're just wanting their feedback so that it is a two-way dialogue and it's not just you running, well, what we used to call steamrolling somebody into a cell, right? But if you're talking more than a third of the time, then you're not closing. You're presenting. There's a difference there, right? So presentations don't sell, conversations do. So if you just have a conversation with people the right way, right tonal inflection, because you already know what they're going to say. Everybody getting the picture here? Everybody with me? Cool. So connected to what you already know. And going back to prior weeks, right? We talked about pain points on week 19. If you're looking for a syllabus to go back, right? If you forgot or you weren't here, pain points on week 19, we talked about amplifying the pain, but you can't amplify it if you never heard it, right? So the prospect names their pain in their own words. When you listen closely, this is where they hand you the exact wound you press on. No guessing required, right? Then you close using their language, not yours. As a quick example, you can go and use the 6 questions that we talk about, what has you looking for more income? How much you want to make? What do you want the money for? Right. And then that last question on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you? What are you accustomed to making? Right. I can take all those things that they just said and say something like, so if I could show you a way that you could make that extra $500 per month, right, that you were looking for to take care of the kid and, do those extra things. And it was less than, 40 bucks a month to get started. Is that something that would interest you? So you're taking that information and then using it in their language, right? So that you're connecting with that person and confirming the same thing that they already told you, which is intensive, like you're getting their buy-in, and they're also on a subconscious and psychological level, they're connecting with you and saying, hey, this person actually hears me. They're listening to me instead of trying to sell me something, right? And then you go back to week 14 when we talk about the buying line. Listening is going to raise that emotional temperature, right? So as you're trying to have that person go up and above that buying line to where they're ready to buy with something, right? Right? You're going to lift that emotional temperature in the meantime of just having a conversation. And right there, like I said, people feel closest to those who truly hear them. When they feel they're heard, it's an easy connection, right? Super easy connection. So being heard feels like they're being understood. And people buy from those who understand them. I'll say that again. And people buy, we should all say it together. And people buy from those who understand them, right? Just being a little satirical there. So here's the first technique I want to give you guys. The power of the pause. We used it earlier. Not sure if you were paying attention, but we used it earlier. The golden rule of closing. Ask the question, then shh. And here's the fun one. Anybody remember the training that we had on pen to mouth? Right? If you need help with this technique, if you have a problem, like, I just gotta say something, like you could be, I don't know. I think of that pen to mouth technique. And then when you don't need the pen or don't have the pen, then it's just simply cover your lips. Maybe it's a finger, maybe it's something like this so that you look smart when and listening to them intently. Right? Why it works. Silence creates pressure. That's what happens, right? I told you earlier, most people are uncomfortable in the silence, right? So it hands the prospect space to think. They can talk themselves into it, right? That's what that silence is for. So, they're questioning what you're saying is even real, right? They're using their bullshit meter, if you will, all right, as well. Does this person sound believable? Or is it too good to be true? Right? Because if it's too good to be true, then obviously they're going to be like, yeah, this is too good to be true. That's going to bring up more objections and more questions. Right? So how do we do it? Ask the closing question. Then count to 10 in your head if you have to. So, blah, 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 blah. If we could do this and it would be less than $40 a month, would that make sense to you or would that interest you? One more time. Like 10 seconds seems like a long time, right? So just ask the closing question and then count. Let's see how long it's gonna take this person to respond, right? All right, 3 seconds, 5 seconds. Maybe it's 1 second. Yeah, think in the back of your mind, hey, they broke a record. Just have some fun with it. Here's technique in 2 and 3. We want to make sure that we listen to the whole message, okay? Active listening, right? Even better, what we call level 1 listening. Listen to understand, not just to respond. Most people just listen long enough to load the next sentence. Instead, you don't interrupt. And in fact, when they start speaking, you want to do your best to go back to pen to mouth. Nod, give small verbal cues, especially if you're seeing somebody eye to eye. Even if you're not, even if you're on the phone, you should still be making those motions. Why? Because motion creates emotion. Right? And ultimately, that's what we're doing is we're transferring that emotion onto that person on why they need your product or why they need to try it or why they need to book some more time with you. Right? Let them finish, then pause. Listen for what they don't say. Right? Not just what they do say, but what they don't say. Right? Because odds are what they don't say could potentially be an objection, right? And you can handle that in advance. So how do we do this? One other good way is to mirror and confirm. Repeat the words back to them. When you echo their exact phrase, they feel like they've been heard, right? We already talked about this, and they'll keep talking. I don't know if you guys remember this or not. Let's see. 5 words that'll make you the most money. Anyone? I know we've quizzed you guys on this before. Anyone? Rita? Terea? Dr. Lisa, you may not. I think you might have heard this.
I remember help me understand. I use that a lot. I don't remember the five.
That one's cool. But the one I'm specifically talking about is tell me more about that. Right? Oh, cool. Tell me more about that. Right? That opens them up. Again, they feel like you're listening. Oh, tell me more about that. Shows interest. Now they start talking. I know I've mentioned this to you guys before, right? There were times that, when you're going direct marketing, you might run into some older lady that hasn't had anybody show up or talk to her in months or days or years, and they will want to talk your ear off. And in many cases, I'll tell you right now, as a man, I've heard things that I probably didn't need to hear, right? There were just conversations that were had. And oh, by the way, so in essence, I guess what I'm getting at, right, is I have this way of, having a conversation with people, and they'll just tell me their life story. They'll just be like an open book. You can literally open the page and then the book starts reading out loud for itself, right? So let's say they say, I just want more time with my kids. So, oh, okay, cool. More time with your kids. Tell me more about that. What would you guys do like with that extra time? Ask that extra question so that oh, well, we'd probably do this, that, and the other. That's where, again, at the end, you can say, cool, so we could do this, that, or the other. And it's only blank to get started, right? Would that interest you? If they say yes, well, you know that they're above the line. Shh. Don't keep talking. Ask them when's the best time to get started for you. Today. How do I get started? Great. Here's the link. Let me know when you're all set, and I'll send you an invite to the group or whatever, however your system is set up, right? So active listening and then mirror and confirm. Okay, and then here's the fourth technique: close on their words. I kind of gave you a kind of already preface for this, right? Their answers hand you the close. Can I ask everybody with me so far? You guys get and understand what I'm saying, right? Okay. They're gonna literally hand you the answers. Do you guys know of anybody else that's teaching this stuff? I haven't. I haven't found anyone. Let me know if you do, because that person and I should probably collaborate. Technique four, close on their words, right? So ask open questions. What made you take this call? That's a good one. What would change for you if you did this, if you started today? Remember the future pacing we talked about, guys? Future pace. What would life look like 90 days from now if you just dug in and started taking action? Right? That's an open-ended question versus a closed-ended question. To remind you, open-ended question is going to get them speaking, right? Closed-ended question is just designed to get a yes or a no. Number two, listen for that motive. Somewhere in that answer is the real reason, right? What is it? Are they looking for freedom, family, security? What's their motivator, right? What's that fuel to their fire, so to speak? And then the third thing is feed it back to close, right? So you said you wanted X. This is exactly how you get there, right? That's a powerful statement right there. You said you wanted to make 500 bucks a month, more time with your family, your kids, so that you could go out and do better things or more things, have more fun, more memories, right? This is exactly how you get there. So I'll tell you the truth, right? Again, this is just me speaking from the heart, like I do. I've seen a lot of people come and go in this industry, my friends. And we're still friends. They just didn't have the wherewithal or the gumption to continue to go, like to keep going, right? I mean, I remember, in fact, this is an older story. When I first started my direct marketing days, it was me and one other girl that were in training together. We had the exact same opportunities. We went out there, and the goal was to get 50 sales within that first week, which, it was challenging because it was our first week. But the point that I'm getting at is her and I had the same opportunity to win $1,000, right? The first one that had accomplished that goal. Well, on the last day, I showed up. She didn't. Uh, this is why I tell you guys, just show up. Show up. Be close to the fire. You listen to enough of this long enough, it's gonna soak in. You're gonna have the answers. You're gonna be like, "Whoa, where'd that come from?" All right. So here's some questions that make them talk. All right. We talked a little bit about open-ended questions versus closed-ended questions. Open them up. Uncover the motive. What made you say yes to having a conversation today? Especially if you've already designated, had some kind of conversation to say, let's have a business conversation. Oh, what made you say yes? Like, find out. Oh, it's because I like you, we're friends, whatever the case is, right? Or maybe it's, well, because you mentioned that this such and such, and I need help with such and such. But find the pain. If nothing changes, where are you a year from now? Again, back to future pacing. But this is future pacing adding pain, right? So let's say, you don't lose that 50 or 100 pounds. I'm just throwing it out there, guys, you know, because I've been watching my girlish figure. Right? That's another win I haven't talked about yet, but trying to hit a specific number before I scream from the top of my lungs. I'll reveal the dream, right? What would this actually change for you and your family? Like, how would life look? How would it be different if you had, let's say, $1,000 if that was your goal? Because we all know that, hey, cute drawing there, Tony. Because we all know that most families are literally, it's $500, man, that would make a big difference in people's lives. So if you have a business that you're sharing with people, right, we've talked about this before. You got to find out first off, how many people does it take to break even? Then how many people does it take to make your first $100? And then maybe it's 250 and then 500. So that when you do have somebody join, you're able to tell them these are exactly the targets that you need to focus on and what to hit, right? So listen for versus listening past. Okay, listen for emotional words like, I'm tired, I'm stuck, I'm scared. And then what is their why, right? We've talked about this. Is it because of family, freedom, time? Most people just want more time freedom, right? Time to do the things that they want to do. What they repeat more than once is going to be a key indicator. Listening past, well, surface objections that hide real fear. I'm fine when their tone says otherwise. This is a big one for me, especially if I'm on the phone. I say, hey, how's it going? I'm okay. Right? You guys have heard that before, right? From friends? I'm all right. Deep down, you know there's something emotionally wrong. They're dealing with something. They're struggling with something. Guess what? That's where the state change comes in, right? I'm never going to even try to approach to try to sell somebody if they're in that emotional state. So what is my job? My job is to lift their emotional state, right? So the real close, though, is usually in what they say second, not first. So they'll say something first, identify, listen. What's the tonality? What are you picking up? Pretend you're an empath for just a moment. Right? Read the customer and then move on. So here's some of the killers for listening. These are the habits that make prospects shut down. Interrupting. This is very important. This is again going back to what we talked about with that pen to mouth. Be very careful not to interrupt a person. Quick little funny story. I was playing video games yesterday on my birthday with some friends, and I have a problem with my microphone on my headset because our puppy decided he was going to get his foot tangled up in there and started running and threw the thing out of my hand. So, yeah, I feel kind of funny saying this live on TV, but my dongle that I plug in is kind of crooked. Get your heads out of the gutter. But I was having a conversation with her, and she just kept talking. Come to find out, I was like, "Can you guys hear me?" And it was because they couldn't hear me. And we jokingly laughed. I said, "Man, I'm having so many problems with this. I was talking and you just talked over me. I was like, how rude. We all just sat there and laughed about it. But be careful about interrupting, right? Especially if they're telling you something, you don't want to interrupt them because, like many of us, we have the attention span of a gnat and maybe we might forget, oh, I forgot what I was saying, right? Oh, let's talk about something else. It'll come back up, right? So careful not to interrupt. And then filling every silence. Rushing to fill a pause robs them of the moment that they were about to talk themselves into yes, right? So allow for that pause. Have a comfortable silence. Third, answer an unasked objections, excuse me. Raising doubts they never had plans, problems they weren't there, that weren't there. We spoke about that earlier too, right? And then rehearsing your reply. If you're loading your next line, you're not listening. But where I put this into a category is that again, if you're going and you're somewhat scripted, like what we talk about, your replies are going to be scripted because you're going to have the same kind of responses, right? I've talked about this before in the past. I say some of the same jokes to the same types of people, depending on if they're apples, oranges, or coconuts. It really just depends, right? It's all about the old people underwear. Just depends. Get it? Talking past the close, they say yes, three sentences ago, right? And then again, that's where you're not listening to see that they're above the buying line. You keep pitching or keep talking, right? So make sure you pay attention to that. Make sure you recognize it, and if you're doing that, then stop. And then hearing, not listening, that's pretty important there. And like nod, again, if you're in person, especially, but even if you're not, if you're on the phone, do those same motions because those will help you. Motion creates emotion, right? So that's it for today, guys. I trust you guys got some value from today's presentation information. I'd love to hear some of your takeaways. I want you guys to answer these before next week if you can personally. Right? In your last close, what percent were you talking? And think about it and be honest with yourself. And what would 70-30 have changed? Like, think about that for a moment for yourself. Number two, write one open question you'll use this week to get a prospect revealing their real motive. And then number three, where do you rush? Oh, where do you rush to feel silence? Commit to one spot where you'll pause and let them speak first. Maybe it's hey, tell me a little bit about yourself. And then let them speak and then you listen and be quiet. But if you guys got some value today, I'd love to hear about it. What are your takeaways? Feedback, comments, concern? Let's open up some dialogue.
Can you guys hear me?
We can now.
Oh, tell me more about that, please.
That's it.
No,
No,
that's
please,
definitely
though. Please is a forbidden word.
absolutely. Yeah,
That's
it is
extra
true.
basically.
Yeah, no, it is true. You have it on the money with with the listening being the greatest asset that you can use to close any type of conversation. Because every time you listen, people give you information. And if you, I am often uncomfortable with silence. And imagine if the person is receiving the silence on the other hand, how do they feel? They
Right.
might be prompted to fill in the silence for
And
you.
then think about the energy there too at that particular point in time.
Okay. One of the things actually that has been driving me lately has been that counting my words in the conversation,
Okay.
especially when you are building relationship and trying to steer people into a direction. Sometimes when you get excited, you tell them a little bit too much and it becomes overwhelming,
Yeah.
right? So letting them feed into the conversation, is actually you fulfilling the oath, guiding them through by receiving what are the concern and just answering what needs to be answered. And sometimes the gold in a conversation is in the silence, right? Because if I'm expecting you to go over these points and you don't, as I'm actively listening, then these are areas of opportunity of conversation for me to have or development that you're not aware of that we have to go into.
Right.
And right now, for example, this weekend, I apologize for not being able to attend. My heart was with the inner circle, but I was on the road, and I kept coming into new contacts, and I was actively applying that because I'm a newbie in this market, and the only way I get information is by listening. And when I had my main artist taking me out to network with other promoters, event showcases and stuff. So I was being introduced to the table and actively listening what they were saying was allowing me to positioning myself within those and relationship, but also within that network. So that was so important. Just listening and understanding where I am and where my aptitudes or my skill would be welcome. And that's so important. Active listening is everything. I yield
Yeah.
on that note. And
Amen.
tell me more is the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me more about that. Tell me more about that. Just watch your tonality, and you don't want to do it over and over. Oh, tell me more about that. Oh, really? Tell me more about that. Like, you don't want to be silly about it. But yes, thank you for that feedback and takeaways. Gene, how about you, brother?
Um, just one thing real quick that I learned previously that you've mentioned it before elsewhere, but it also fits into here, I think, is asking someone if they say, well, maybe now's not the time. Well, why do you feel that way?
Sure.
And again, shutting up. Because now you're kind of put on the spot a little bit and they have to come up with an excuse or something. But it also breaks the ice of a whole totally different conversation because that may not be what they really need to say or want to say. They're just trying to say that as an objection, and then
Right.
you know you're able to get through that to the real meaning. But again, that's where that silence comes in big time.
Yeah. And I love that question too. Like, what makes you feel that way? Like it's a direct, open-ended question that should give you the answers that you're looking for sure.
Mhm.
Great feedback, great response. Thank you.
Mhm.
Anyone else? You guys get some kind of value out of today, I trust. Go ahead, Rita.
Hey, I just wanted to add that whoops, what just happened? When you were talking about um, people, and part of what you do in terms of sales psychology is understanding people. People like to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
So you've got an open floor. You just find the questions that you're going to ask next as you are actively listening. So just wanted to reiterate that. And as a Toastmaster, never ask us to talk because we don't know how to shut up. Back to you.
So,
I was gonna recommend everybody should grab that the listening killers and pin that because these are gold nuggets right there. This is applicable in any relation, in any conversation. Right? Constantly, these are things that I like how you put it because I'm going to pin that in my mainframe. Don't interrupt. Be careful. Don't feel every silence. Right? All these are key takeaway mark
right on.
quotes.
Right on. Well, I appreciate you guys as always, man. You know, Monday is my favorite day of the week. I'm glad that you guys are joining us. We've got a great crowd today. I appreciate all of you guys, especially if you're new here. Here's your week's challenge, right? This is a challenge. I always do a little bit of a challenge for you guys because, again, my main goal is to make sure you're progressing and moving forward. It's all about these conversations, and that's the one thing that I can't do for you, right? I could teach you the stuff. I could show you, like, Rita's seen it. I could do all that, but I cannot have the conversations for you. Let's be clear. I don't know if I told you this story before or not. But had one girl in our downline for the gas tablet, and she was like, here's this guy's name and phone number. Go talk to him. I'm like, what are you, what? She wanted me to go pitch the guy. I'm like, this is not how it works. Okay.
You
So
mean we can't hire you to just do that for us?
no, man, no. You couldn't afford me to do that for you. Anyway, here's the challenge, okay? The next three conversations, I want you to aim for that 70-30. Them talking, you listening. Ask one open question, then say nothing. Let the silence do the work, right? Let them think, let them stew if you're sitting there with them, watch their body language, see what they do. Do they cross their arms? Do they scratch their head? Do they, pick their nose? What are they doing, right? Pay attention to all that. And then close. Using the exact words that they give you. And I want to hear about this. Like, again, I really am looking forward to a lot of these sessions coming forward when everybody starts clicking and they start getting it. And they can say, hey, so I tried this thing that we talked about. And, oh my God, it worked, right? Because I can teach you this stuff, but you're not going to realize that it works until you use it. And then you see, oh shit, Robert was right. Right. So next week, make sure you guys tune in, okay? Because we're going to progress forward into week 30. And
Before
we're
you
going to,
go,
You
yes.
see Anna.
Anna's
Oh,
very
Anna.
nice.
Yes. Go ahead. I was going to let her
Yes,
speak.
you didn't
Yeah.
saw me.
No, I was finishing this out, and then your hand popped up. You're good. Go ahead, Jay.
Okay, okay, no, it's
Happy belated birthday.
thank you. It's interesting that we are talking about that today because I'm working more now on my work to put my work out there. So my profiles and the Facebook and everything and the site, it's about my work. But this touched me in the challenge that I have, that in the companies of network marketing that I have,
Okay.
I I never I didn't never know. I never didn't. How I say this in English. I never know. I never knew how how to to go for really for the business part.
Sure.
That it's very interesting. So I work with products of health because it's my area of work.
Sure.
So and I love them. So, but I could never done that step to go for uh, to attract people for really the business part that I think it's the most incredible one model business
Sure.
because it's really we only share what I'm sharing things about health. I'm a health professional, so it's really because it works. If not, I would not was selling them. So it's, but I didn't. I don't know to do it when it is. I know for my patients say, oh, there are a product that it's very good, ta, 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 and I say to my patients, but to go for the other step that is to invite for the business, I'm not so good yet. So, and you were talking about that. So a lot of that part, because people has challenge, they need more money for their projects, everyone. So the ones that are more creative and have more projects, they need money for the project. So it makes so much sense, and it's there are somewhere in me a part that it's need to change to do it better, and you explain it so easily. For you it's so easily
Sure.
so
Well,
flowing, so fantastic.
sure, but you'll get there too, right? That's the big thing, right? So first off, again, let's take a step back and congratulations again for taking action to join the Lost Transition and get some coaching from me and start diving in and learning this stuff. As you were speaking, I had to find a pen and paper to write this down to give you a little bit of a tip, if you will, right? I was thinking you already have, you're already a health professional, so that's your brand. We need to focus on you being that brand of being a health professional so that when people look at you, they know you're a professional. And then when you speak, they say, oh, this is coming from a professional person's mind.
Mhm.
So I would say something like, even on a post, say, as a health professional, some of the biggest things that I've noticed in this industry are problems with such, such, and such, and such. If you have any of these identified problems, feel free to reach out to me.
Oh, sorry, Robert, please say it slowly for me to. It's fantastic, you are so good. Tell
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
slowly, please.
Yeah. So you might even want to go back and watch the recording once it's in the back office there.
Okay.
But again, my mind works in a marketing way, right? Because it's so many years. If I'm a health professional, right? Then I need to lead with my brand so that when I speak, people know that I'm a professional. So I was thinking in my mind, so as a health professional, throughout the years, these are the biggest problems that I've noticed within the industry. It might be weight loss, it might be something diabetes or whatever the case is that's in direct correlation with your products, right? If you need any assistance with any of these, please feel, well, don't say please, but feel free to reach out at any time.
Fantastic.
So all
Yes.
you're doing is saying, hey, here I am. I'm available for these things. Same thing too, Tommy. Your name just popped up into my head as an example, bro. You still here with us? Cool. Yes. You know what I'm saying, Tommy? Like as a patriot and somebody that's done my homework over the past 30 years, here's a few of the problems that I've realized, and here's how we're solving it. Or, if you'd like some information about it, feel free to reach out. It's stating like, hey, you're the guy or the girl that has the answers to their problem, but you don't want to sit there and just try to pitch them, right? And doing something like that too, that's going to really attract, if it attracts anybody, depending on your audience, right? We'll preface that. If it does, then those are going to be warm leads, people that you want to talk to, right? Yeah, I feel it flows pretty easy. Yeah, as a health professional, some of the things that I've, noticed over my past X amount of years is such and such, such and such. If you need any assistance with any of these, feel free to reach out at any time. Just rolls off the tongue.
Fantastic. It's so easy
Yeah. Well,
for you. For
but
you.
it's because I've had to program or reprogram
Yeah.
my mind this way, you know what I mean? It's 20 years of doing it this specific way. And then the sales psychology stuff that I teach you guys, like I cannot thank uh God, the universe, or whatever for giving me the experience to have such an amazing mentor, coach, and trainer, when I first started direct marketing. He was the one that actually took the time to sit back and say, okay, well, this is why we stand in the door this way. This is why we hold our thing this way. Like explaining the why. This is what people actually need, not the how. Right? We don't need the how. We need the why. And when we know the why, then we can pull that why into what it is that we're doing. And it's overlapping. It can be used in anything that we do, right? Especially in the sales, whether it's health and wellness, um, you know, legal, as an example. As somebody that's been in the legal field for X amount of years, here's some of the things that I've noticed. Most people don't prepare for when they graduate the planet. This is what I'm thinking in my mind. Right? Most people pass away and they don't even have a will. If this is you, feel free to reach out to me.
Mhm.
See? Cool beans?
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Pete, great to see you, brother. I saw you pop in, but I was in the middle of the roll. It was great to see you, brother. I'm glad you made it. How you doing?
Hey, I, I just wanted to say a guy, gentleman, while I was working online this weekend,
Uh,
he did everything wrong,
Okay.
trying to pitch me. I'm like, it was like an example of your classes when we talk about what to do wrong.
Right.
And I kept coming back to him saying, look, even if I needed what you had, the way you approached me, not only would I slam the door, you know what I'm saying? I want nothing to do with you at all.
Right.
And he kept coming back, kept coming back. He's like, it doesn't matter what he's selling.
Sure.
Happened to be silver. I'm like, maybe I'm into gold. He didn't know. He had
Well,
no idea what I was into.
here's a great answer for you. I got a guy for that.
Yeah, I don't. It's just the approach,
Yeah, of
and it was,
course. You never
you
get a
know,
second chance to make a first impression, right?
he proved to me what you're saying, and I knew it was true,
Sure.
but I got to see it live. It's almost got to the point where I'm letting these guys in just
Yeah,
to see how to do it wrong.
sure. Yeah, and a
Do
lot
the
of
opposite.
a
Did
lot
you refer him to this session?
there you go.
I still have his name.
There's been times like that to where I've used that to my advantage, turned it into a coaching thing and flipped the script, so to speak, right? That's closing the people that are trying to close you, right?
That is a excellent suggestion.
Yeah.
If you can turn the sale on him, you are the expert.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
you're at least learning something in the class.
Yeah, I could have said something like, "Oh man, you know, I had such high." What I normally say, Peter, and anybody here, you feel free to use it. If somebody connects with me and then they pitch me too fast, I'm gonna say, "Oh man, I had such high hopes for our friendship."
Yeah,
Right? And then I
yeah.
that draws a question. I'm getting into their mind. Well, why do you say that? Oh, well, see, you're pitching me already. You don't know me. You don't, know my needs, my wants, my desires, any of that. You know what, though? We could probably help you out. I know of a great group that gets together every Monday.
Outstanding,
For free,
outstanding.
12 o'clock
Yep,
is standard time, Just a,
you are right on it. I didn't mean to step on you.
oh, no, you didn't step on me at all,
I
brother.
got
That's,
to work on my 70-30.
we're good. We're good, brother.
He
We're
was 70 for sure, maybe 80.
I'm happy to see you either way, brother.
Good seeing you all.
So that's it for today, man. Go out there, do some great things, go kick some ass, take some names, and tune in tomorrow. If you have nothing better to do, we're gonna be talking and going into our how-to sessions with our brother from another mother, Virgil Obeo, at the helm. Same bat station, same bat time. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Toot toot, love you. Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.
See you.